It's been quite a ride, but it's finally time for the final episode of Metroid Zero Mission. We could have gone up here pretty much as soon as we got the gravity suit, but you might notice it looks like you need power bombs to get through here. Of course, you don't really need them because this is Zero Mission, and this should not be a surprise at this point. But I appreciate that they encourage you to go get them so you have the ability to go back and get everything you might have missed. Not that you necessarily will, but you might. Getting through these speed booster blocks is a little tricky since you have to jump just as you're getting that charge built up, and it's pretty dang precise. Not impossible, just very precise. The intended way for you to get through this laser maze is to just very carefully space jump your way through to the end, because if you hit one of those lasers, the door closes, it triggers the alarm, and, well, you have to try all over again to get that energy tank. But if you're good, you can do a little shine spark across the bottom there and avoid that entirely. Much easier, let me tell you that much. But with that, we now officially have 100% of all items, which means there's nothing in our way to stop us from fighting the final boss and ending this off. Meet Mecha Ridley. Not to be confused with Meta Ridley, who is a completely different boss in a completely different game. Mecha Ridley is an interesting boss. It only has a handful of attacks, those fireballs that it loves spamming being but one of them. But if you've collected 100% of all items, it has 3 times as much health, and its claw swipe that you saw there deals 3 times as much damage as normal. On hard mode with 100% items, that claw swipe does 3 full energy tanks of damage, and that is insane! So, probably not in your best interest to get hit by it. Your only way of refilling anything ammo or health-wise in this battle is by destroying those missiles that it sometimes launches from its back, and it can't drop super missiles, so if you're going to be firing those out, make sure your shots count. Interesting tidbit about Mecha Ridley, it is, and I quote, an image made by himself to demonstrate his power by making this image in the form of a powerful weapon. So Ridley is such a narcissist that he couldn't stop himself from making a robot of himself and making it one of the strongest weapons in the Space Pirate's arsenal. Luckily for us, it's currently not quite complete, which is why it, doesn't have legs for one thing. And is also probably why it has that big glowing red weak point we've been firing at all battles so far. Honestly, given how strong this thing is, I would kind of hate to see what it looks like when it's actually completed. But in all honesty, this fight is pretty simple all told. You just want to take every chance you can to fire at that weak point, try and lure Ridley's head up by jumping up when you can, avoid getting hit by the claw because it'll hurt a lot, and really, that's about it. It's not a super complicated fight. I do like that it makes use of a very cramped space in an effective way. It doesn't feel super duper limiting, but it feels limiting enough that you don't feel safe just, jumping around freely. I feel like it's very similar in concept to the final boss of Metroid 2, now that I think about it. Now, this is Mecha Ridley at full power. Kinda threatening, but not terribly difficult. So, how tough is it really when we don't have all the items? That's how we get shit done. Mecha Ridley is a chump if you don't have 100%. It's pretty sad. Of course, it's not a Metroid game without an escape sequence at the very end, although I guess this is the second escape sequence, because, we already had the one with Mother Brain, but that wasn't the ending, so I guess this is technically the okay, whatever. The point is we're running away because this place is going to, explode. What? It's a Metroid game. You thought the place we're on wouldn't explode in some sort of glorious fashion? I mean, come on. Thankfully, the timer for this sequence is pretty lenient, even on hard mode. Certainly no 1-minute escape from Torian. Oh god. I died to that more times than I'd like to admit when I first played this game. There are a number of shortcuts, though, that'll help things out quite a bit, help cut down our time. Mostly using power bombs because, I mean, I guess they want to reward you somewhat for getting them all. Like, you can use a power bomb in here, as I may have pointed out earlier, to make getting through this section a lot quicker. But you can also go through the top and take those speed booster blocks that I pointed out way earlier. It's fairly precise, but if you can get it just right, you can carry the Shine Spark all the way through this hallway and just blaze through the last few rooms with no issues. Otherwise, you would have to deal with another one of those slow-moving robots, and that'll eat up your time really quickly if you don't have enough missiles to get it out of the way as soon as possible. But we have one more final challenge, one that I would almost say it's harder than Mecha Ridley, except their AI is ridiculously easy to cheese by just doing this one simple trick. And with that, Zero Mission is completed.